Hey guys, I'm Danielle and this is my Battle of the Logos project. So the first logo I'm going to cover is Urban Green. The requirements for this logo was that it had to have swirls in it. Um, the business, for those of you who don't remember, is a healthy food restaurant in New York. So here's my final logo in black and white and grayscale. You can see that I incorporated swirls, but it's nothing too busy or overwhelming. I also contradicted the swirly kind of cutesy logo with a very clean serif font. Here it is in the color. I chose green because I wanted it to communicate quickly that it was a healthy food restaurant. When it comes to New York, you have to communicate clearly because people are constantly moving around, and quickly because you have a lot going on around you. So here are my PMS, CMYK, and RGB, as well as my hex. Here are the fonts I used for the logo. You can see this Good Time. Here's the original. For the logo, I moved things around. I cleaned it up, and then I added more of a swirl onto the ends of the logos. I also made it simpler in other places. Here is the wordmark typeface, which for this I just kind of made it less curvy. I made it more straight. Here are my sketches. You can see my keywords here were nature, green, healthy, New York. Obviously it had to stand out and it had to have swirls. So here's some of my just original ideas. You can see that I went with kind of this concept happening down here. Here are logos I use for inspiration. They're not just swirly logos, but they're logos about eating right and being healthy. So the next logo I'm going to cover is my Fields of Love, which first off is a country band. Second off, it had to be a ribbon logo. Being a graphic designer, hearing that they want ribbons in something made me kind of nervous because ribbons can be very heavy and kind of take up design. They can also look kind of tacky. So it was a matter of using ribbons but giving it a very clean, modern look. Especially with logos, you want them to be clean and easy to read and easy to communicate. So here it is in black and white and grayscale. You can see that I have the vertical and the horizontal here together. Same concept, just different setups. Here it is in color. I used bands like the band Perry and the Kearney Brothers to kind of get an idea of how country bands use color in their logos. I also used a red to communicate the love part, as cliche as it may be, because sometimes cliches are the quickest way to communicate across the society. So here are my colors. The red, it's not a full red. It's darker than like a normal red would be. We have a brown, and then we have this kind of gold color, which I didn't use in its full strength. I had it kind of saturated down right here. So here's my typography. You can see in the original there's just a lot going on. I took out these little points here in the letters. You can see I just cleaned it up, made it more straight, but I still had this feeling of Western, these little points here, which made it feel very much like a Western font. Here are my sketches. You can see that I kind of went with these ribbon concepts that are up here. Like I said, I really wanted it to be a clean ribbon logo. I also didn't want it to feel super cliche, so I kind of stayed away from these hearts. I had a cowboy Cupid idea. I had mountain ideas. This is kind of a seal with a ribbon, but I went with this just simple design. You can see that my field of love keywords are country, romantic, and western. You can also see here I thought of other symbols other than hearts that would communicate love, such as Cupid, arrows, flowers, and a rose. So here's my inspiration. Um, I thought about a different way to do a ribbon, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Here's country music ideas. This is actually where I got the idea for the typeface I used. And then just really modern, clean ways of using ribbon. So my third one is In Space. This was a seal logo. The company is... Sorry, there was someone walking by my window. I live in the city. Is a competitor for... It's a company that builds rockets for NASA, basically. They wanted a seal logo, and they wanted it to feel modern. So here it is in black and white and grayscale. The concept for this logo is a little bit abstract, and I'll show you once we get to the color kind of what my concept was. You can see here it says build, explore, and discover. So my concept for this logo is more than just a company that builds rockets. It's about building, exploring, and discovering. So I wanted to kind of take this idea and make it more abstract. So I thought of astronomy and how human history is assigned stories to the stars. And you can see here, I have a constellation. It is the Hercules, because Hercules was a hero and he was an explorer. So I used him to kind of represent the idea of the company. You can see here my colors. I wanted to use a blue because blue is very modern. It's also the color of trustworthiness. So I used it in 2 different shades here. Here's my typography. I went with a very geometric typeface because it kind of gives off that modern feel, but it's also very constructed like a rocket would be. And then I also provided the client with an alternate logo because seal logos can be very hard on... It can be very hard to shrink down. So on smaller screen sizes or business cards, you might lose some of that detail in the logo. So as you can see, we still have the Hercules and we have the same font. Here are my sketches. At first, you can kind of see that I was just going with the cliche, the rockets. What does a universe look like? What's the solar system look like? What would it be like to represent a rocket going around the Earth? Here's a rocket leaving the Earth. And as I got more abstract, you can see I worked with constellations. I worked with the more shape of a solar system. And I was playing with the golden ratio, things like that, just to kind of get a more geometric feel to the logo. And then here's my inspiration. Obviously a good seal logo. We've got NASA logos. A seal logo that I just thought was a different way of thinking about a seal logo, and then other outer space logos. So that's my project. I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to hearing your critiques. Thanks.